Chronologically Gaming pre-show, where we play every video game in order of release. And Paul, if I reveal if we're doing Vectrex tonight, it ruins the fun of the show, because all the games that you don't know from the thumbnail would be revealed. Not knowing what's coming up is half the fun, unless you've scoured magazines and know the release dates, because then you'd know exactly what we're going to play. But right now, it's the Wild West. Anything can happen. Any video game can happen. We don't know what's going to be released. It's so fun. Hey, welcome in, Marshall. I have thought about that. When I did the show, I was going to buy all the controllers for all the different systems, but then I realized how many systems and controllers I'd have to buy, so I decided not to go on that. But yes, I've been wanting to. I had the idea to show them on camera. Howdy, Brad. Because right now there's also all the third-party controllers too. There's lots of different joysticks and ways that you can control the systems. One of the big ones that I didn't want to show off the console controllers is because in the arcade there's so many control panels and ways to control video games that it would just get too dicey. That's why I show them just some pictures of what the control panel looks like. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, so showing the joysticks in a segue, that'd be a cool idea. I've been wanting to do that since the beginning, but I don't know if I can do it for every single system. We did have Curtis Boyle that was on the show as a guest, and he had one of the analog Wiko joysticks for the, I don't know, it wasn't Wiko, it was something else for the TRS-80 color computer, and he wanted to get it to work to play with the games, because showing the controller is one thing, or showing the hardware off is one thing, but playing with the hardware is a totally different thing. And that's true, yeah, there's lots of different frustrations for that one. Oh yeah, man, I would love, Brad, if you can send me a Vectrex controller, that'd be awesome. An extra one? Yeah, I'd like to show a little bit, because showing the hardware is fun, but we're not really big, or at least the show's not really big on hardware. We're more on software, trying to get as much of these games displayed and playing the games on the screen. But yeah, cool idea. Oh, that's awesome! If you have some weird ones, that'd be fun too. Oh, and there you go, looking at the future Nebulous Downland on the Coco, and that's true. Most of them are played with analog. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get some kind of digital controller or a way to emulate the digital controller. Yeah, and there you go, Curtis, the Atari 2600 adapters. We've been playing on the adapters already for the original TRS-80, for some of the stuff that Bill Hogue did and Jeff Conyu. A lot of their games, they were so great and so fun to play on the TRS-80 with those adapters. And hey, welcome in, Brian. Yeah, it's Wednesday. I really don't know what my peak live hours are during the week. I noticed that most people aren't tuning in for Fridays compared to Mondays. But whatever day you're tuning in, whether you're here for the live show right now or you're going to be watching the show later, welcome everyone. That would be awesome. Brad, if you want to drop me a line on my email, which is, I think it's just chronologicallygaming@gmail. Yeah, you can send me the information, and I can let you know where to send a Vectrex controller, because I love me some Vectrex. Oh, and that explains it. Yeah, Curtis, I noticed that you tune in a little bit after, because the show is Saturday. Don't forget about Coco Nation Live on Saturday, where I don't stream. I play video games on the weekends. Oh, that might be it, Brad, for the Friday nights. But I haven't looked into it. I don't know for sure if it really is peak hours or not, or peak viewership. But we've already been doing the show about 2 years. As we move forward and we progress in newer video games and new generations, we might have different viewers and different people here for the live show. Oh, yes, the digital controller. And Kicks is another big one. We actually have one coming up. We might see it tonight. I don't know for sure. Or it might be in the next episode, where we're seeing video games that they feel like they could have been controlled with a mouse. You know, I know the analog joysticks, you could say the same thing, but it's great. Paul looks confused. All right, showtime. Hey, it's Chronologically Gaming, the only channel that's perpetually retro because we're playing every video game in order of release. Join me going way back to the beginning of December 1982. We were last playing on the best home console in town. That's right, I said it, the Vectrex, and it was Cosmic Chasm. It's only downhill from here. Let's see what our next video game release is. We're next going to check out Cosmic Crusader. This one is only for the PC booter, and it's the 131st game that we've seen for IBM computers, or MS-DOS, PC-DOS, and so forth. Look at that box. That box is too good, has any right to be this good. Maybe it's just the font that's drawing me in, but Cosmic Crusader's box looks pretty darn good. This one's by Funtastic, and I love the name of that company. This is the third time we've seen a video game by Funtastic after Snack Attack 2 and Space Cadet. This one is, I don't even know exactly what the front of the box is showing. It looks like halfway between a space shuttle and a spaceship, but we're going to have some cosmic fun for $39 in the beginning of December 1982. Flip it over the back, and that's more like it. 9 levels of play, full color. User configurable keyboard. Oh, wow. Yeah, it's got a lot of good stuff. And written entirely in machine language for fast, smooth action. We like our action smooth and fast. What other artwork do we have for Cosmic Crusader? We have the, wow, 5 1/4 floppy disk on your IBM PC. This is one's by Michael Abrash. Way to go, Michael. With an example of the screenshot. Let's pop in and play Cosmic Crusader by Funtastic, released in the beginning of December 1982. So this is the third time we've seen anything by Michael Abrash. He also did Space Strike. An alien space fleet has discovered the location of Earth and immediately sets out on the attack. The only thing standing between the enemy and total Terran termination is you, the player, with your puny gunship that's stuck on the bottom of the screen and can only move left to right. Every stage is going to pit us against the contingent of alien ships hovering menacingly above us. Occasionally, the enemy will break formation and go off on a sortie, diving toward us and shooting, only to re-emerge at the top of the screen. The different ship types have different offensive maneuvers. Shooting them in the midst of a dive scores more points than picking them off in formation. Some will bring their buddies along and go on triads, which net you special bonus if you destroy them in the right order. Another bonus is awarded for eliminating the command ship that comes along once per level, shoots at you, and runs off. You can temporarily protect yourself with a shield, but you lose the ability to fire. We have 9 difficulty levels that are available to choose from, and as I'm explaining the game, because we didn't have the artwork to read the game, this is doing the attract mode, which this is really cool. And I've said this before: when you pop in a game to play, I know you might have to load, on home computers, but giving you this arcade experience where the game is playing itself, you could just have this on and pretend that you have the arcade at home. It is so cool. I did want to flip over and show you that we have sort of a bar on the far right side of the screen, giving us the score, high score, round, and then what kind of control scheme that we're working with. So just so you know, that's here, and we've seen a few other games that do that too. It's giving us like a pseudo portrait vertical orientation for the game, even though it's not really. We're turning our monitor on its side. So this game is single player only. This doesn't even have the hot seat multiplayer style. You just go in all by yourself. All right, so look at the bottom, though. We can readjust the controls and map them for the keyboard if we want to. We even have joystick control, which is very rare to play a joystick-controlled game on an IBM computer. It's starting to catch on. It's getting more and more popular. I mean, this is the 131st game we've played for IBM or MS-DOS games. They're catching up almost to the amount of video games that we've seen for the Sinclair ZX Spectrum home computer. All right, so let's go in. I'm just going to push start. I'm going to do keyboard controlled and then take over, and we're in it. So down at the bottom of the screen, yes, I'm moving left, I'm moving right. I have lots of enemies at the top of the screen. If you take them off at the top, you don't get as many points as when they're in formation. There we go. You can see we have a triple formation there, and if you shoot the triple formation in a correct order, then you get some bonus points. But I don't know exactly how you would do it that way. Oh, man. We have like only 4 pieces of shrapnel that come out. What's really nice is the star field in the background that's moving. looks so good. And then we move on to round 2, and it's very much like, it almost feels like, obviously it's Galaxian, but in a way it kind of feels a little like Galaxian, just a little bit, with the way the formations come down, but they don't fly in the same way as Galaxian does. Oh, get the UFO! It's almost like it's, oh, and the UFO shots, those big spiked balls, they, I have to remember to use my shield. They look like they are deflecting the shots. So we can enter our name here. That's so cool. I'll just go like that. That's pretty fun. Can we go in again? Oh, I'll just crash the whole game. Yeah, I want to play it again after that one. Cosmic Crusader is very fun for a arcade-style shoot-'em-up. This one is the 405th fixed shooter that we've seen on all video games up to this point. In other words, you move left, right, and you fire. That's what a fixed shooter is. This is the 236th that we've seen on all home computers so far, and it's the 7th that we've seen for MS-DOS. We've played Bitbat, Space Strike, Bugs, Kamikaze Alien, Paratrooper, and Fuzzy Worm, which was kind of like Centipede. So the graphics are CGA, so very nice. It looks great, and it is a variant of Galaxian, the 83rd video game that we've seen that's trying to copy Galaxian. And it's the very first Galaxian ripoff for MS-DOS, or PC Booter. So this one, I'm kind of in between of the level of rating I want to give this. So let's go in again, have another go with the controls. I like how they are keeping it classic with the Starfield scrolling in the background. The sound, though, is much to be desired, but then again, there's not a whole lot you can do right now with the PC speaker. In a way, this feels like they're trying to emulate the farts of the Apple II sound. But we've heard a few little ditties on the IBM with the PC speaker up to this point. Yeah, the joystick control and the mapped control does add some extra bonus points. Oh, nice. We got the UFO at the end. And then after that, move on to round 2. Very nice. Oh, and that's right. And the shields is a nice addition, which I can show you what it does. It just gives you a little break. Oh, it kills enemies. That's pretty cool. But you're not able to shoot. You just wait for a second. You have you tap the shield. It's being used, and you can't fire a shot while it's going off. So if you feel like you're in the danger zone, quick, use that shield. But I don't even think. Oh, I do have a meter that just let me know the shield. Here, let me switch my side. If you look down in the bottom right, there is cyan bars. Those cyan bars is the number of shields that you have. Uh-oh, get it? Oh, nice. I probably should have used the shield right there. You can even cancel enemy shots. So it's quality all around, except, you know, sound. But then again, sound isn't really that big of a deal for the kinds of games we've seen for home computers up to this point. So in one regard, I could give this game the same level as some of the other shooters we've seen on home computers, like a 3.5-star rating. I'm in between 3.5, maybe 4 stars, just because this is about the same level for some of the 3.5-star games we've given, like Arcadians on the BBC Micro, Arcadia on the VIC-20 and ZX Spectrum, Galactic Chase on the Atari home computer, or Galax Attack that's on the Coco. But then at the same level, I might shoot for a 4-star rating for this game, because it's around the same level. Would you call this the same level as AE or Bandits that's on the Apple II or the Atari home computer, or Cosmic Fighter that's on the TRS-80? So I'm somewhere in between the 3.5 to 4-star rating. I got a lot of averages I've seen over there in the chat. 3 stars, 3.5 from Charlie. Curtis is saying 3 to 3.5. James is saying 3. 3 for early DOS. Oh, 2.5 for overall from Paul. And Marshall's saying 3. Nebulous is going 4 stars. That's, I think, the highest one so far. So yeah, it's very good. It's not necessarily just average. So I won't go 3 stars for everything you could see on or play on every home computer up to this point. Yeah, if it had the sound, then it would be even higher than that. But yeah, I'll go 3.5 stars for Cosmic Crusader. All the different options also helps too. All right, after Cosmic Crusader, let's see what our next game is. Whoa, we get slapped in the face with Crazy Chicky. the newest for your CreatiVision. Let's check out and see what in the world a Crazy Chicky is. Here's the box for Crazy Chicky, also known as Crazy Chewy that we already saw in October 1982, or Crazy Pucker, or Crazy Mooney. All of them just don't really sound very appealing. This one is only on the CreatiVision, and it's the 10th game we've seen for this home console. The front of this one is, it's obviously a maze game, and we're going to be a fox or a chicken, maybe chasing them. But look, we got 32 video games for variations in this, and it says 1 to 4 players. Yes, that's right, 4-player. Right now, a 4-player game on a home console is a little more rare. I mean, on the Bally Astrocade, we saw a lot of 4-player games like football and other hot seat games where you're not all playing at the same time. But on the Atari 2600, the Warlords was 4-player. Breakout, 4-player. Video Olympics or Speedway Street Racer was 4-player. So it's cool seeing another console have that. Let's flip it over the back. They got a picture of the screenshot, and they show the system. It has one Crazy Chicky cartridge and the overlay with complete playing instructions. Ooh, tell us more. Oh, let the foul yolks. That's right. Bring on the puns. So besides the box, we have the overlay. The CreatiVision was interesting because it didn't do a number pad like some of the other consoles. It has a full keyboard on the controller. So you flip this over, but this really doesn't help and do anything because actually, all it has is start. And you already can figure out the start on your number, this overlay. So the overlay is it's not helping you whatsoever. There's the CreatiVision, a little bit of what the system looks like. And we had mentioned before in the pre-show of controllers or showing the hardware. This one would be another one interesting to show on camera what the controller is like. It is a full keyboard with joystick. So when you put it together, you have a keyboard. Which would it make it a computer? I know it's a little interesting to debate whether something's a console or a computer, but CreatiVision is another one. It's like the imagination machine. That's the same concept. So there's the cartridge for Crazy Chicky. And an example of the screenshot already looks good. Tell us how to play some Crazy Chicky. They boast the pixel art right there, which is kind of nice. Originally by VTech, if you had the CreatiVision version, because this was in lots of other places. You are a Chicky. Oh, we are playing as the Chicky. Lucky you, you just opened one of the most exciting video games in the world. Wow, really? Well, we've played every video game in the world, so let's see. Now, as everyone knows, the one thing a Chicky does best is lay eggs, and that's why you travel all over the Happy Days maze laying eggs wherever you go. Your mission is to fill the whole maze with eggs. Beware the funky foxes. While you're traveling around the Happy Days maze, why does it feel like I'm taking a lot of drugs before I read this synopsis? Laying your eggs and bothering anybody. Don't forget about the 4 funky foxes. They'll sneak around and try to catch you. If they do, they gobble you up for dinner, so watch out. Funky foxes can run faster than you can, but they can't see very good, and they go slower around corners, so you might be able to get away. Save yourself with an enchanted carrot. There's 4 enchanted carrots in the Happy Days maze, and if you can find them and eat them up, you'll have special superpowers for a while. You'll be able to chase the funky foxes and eat them up. So while the story and the synopsis of the game is written well, there's really not any artwork in the manual. They are telling us about the secret tunnels, or we call them the portals or warps, like you saw in Pac-Man. You have 4 lives, and then they go with the puns, setting good examples of what you're supposed to do. And then get ready with egg samples, explaining how to set up your system, move the main power unit, get set, put the overlay on there, even though it doesn't do anything. All you're doing is using the joystick because, it's like Pac-Man. We have other egg samples like game modes 1 through 32. You press select on either of the hand controllers, and then you press go. You have all these different game modes, and we are not going to play every game mode, but you can do invisible funky foxes. You can do invisible maze. You can do 1-player games where there's 1 Chicky and just watch out for the foxes. This has 2-player games where you have 2 people that can play Pac-Man at the same time, or I'm sorry, play Crazy Chicky at the same time. You have 4-player games. That's right, 4-player games where you have 2 teams of 2 players competing against each other. So you have lots of egg samples, as it says here. Game modes 1 through 4, game modes 5 through 8. Look at this, game variations. I love game variations. This is so cool. So this one is hot seat multiplayer team game, multiplayer competitive, it is multiplayer cooperative, and it's single player. This has all these game modes. And I said this before when we were playing Crazy Chewy. This is awesome. I love that they put all these different options to play in. It reminds me of the good old days when we played Space Invaders on the Atari 2600. And there's our points that we need to collect as high as we can, especially if you're doing a 4-player game, the 2-player team version, where you and a friend are playing against another 2 friends, and you get to work together on the same screen, and then the other people can try to get their points to outpoint you. And you look down the bottom. This is what I said, too, about Crazy Chewy. The copyright for this scanned manual is 1981, which means it may have been available in Hong Kong or parts of Asia first, and then brought to other regions and countries after that. But I can't go by the 1981 rating because or release date, because this is too good to be from 1981. I'll put it that way. All right, let's pop in that cartridge and play Crazy Chicky by VTech, released in the beginning of December 1982. Ooh. So this one is already starting like a arcade game, like we saw with Crazy Chewy before, and you can already tell what this is. It's an arcade maze game, the 326th arcade maze game we've seen so far on Chronologically Gaming. This is the 47th arcade maze game for home consoles. We've seen the Incredible Wizard, we just saw Combat, or Auto Chase, that was also on the CreatiVision. And we'll go into the other things a little bit later. Let me just show you all the different game modes this has. Let's start with the first game mode. I believe we're going to do... Yeah, let's start with game mode 3. Go 3 and start. If you do this game mode, this is 2 players at the same time, which I forgot to plug my controller in. Let me plug that in. We can play Pac-Man simultaneously. But it's very different. Crazy Chicky is doing the opposite. We're not collecting the dots, we're laying the dots, or laying the eggs. Probably because Crazy Chewy or Crazy Mooney or whatever it was looked way too much like Pac-Man. And so they had to switch it up a little bit. But you can see this feels even a little slower than Crazy Chicky, but you can speed it up. There's other game modes that go faster than this. Notice, though, the presentation. On the outside, we have an arcade bezel that's part of the game, and they did the same thing with Crazy Chewy, but now they've reskinned it for this region. There's very few games that have the full experience trying to show you or make it feel like it's a portrait mode. I mean, we just talked about it in the last game on MS-DOS, but some games will do a bar on the side, but this is some of the best artwork around the outside in part of the game. It's really, really cool. And we're already down. Oh yeah, and it does go a little bit faster. I saw Brad mention in the chat. So this is just the first game mode, or some of the first game modes. There's so many more you can do. Like if we wanted to go into game mode, let's do 12. You can already see it's starting to speed up a little bit. And that also means the Funky Foxes speed up a little bit. But this is a 2-player at the same time, or simultaneous. I believe this is the team way to play. Yeah, and then we can also, let me just reset it and go to like 28 to show how fast this can go. All the different game and modes and play styles are so cool. So you pick up your carrot, and you notice we work together when we get the enchanted carrot. We both have the power-up. Die! And we're both trying to fill the screen. That's if you're playing the cooperative mode. You can also do the competitive mode against someone else. The other player is doing nothing. When I get them... Oh, and this, you can see the maze kind of flashes in and out. What it doesn't have that some other variants of Pac-Man have is allowed you to make changes to the maze, like Miss Pac-Man, or another one that's still is awesome is Ghost Hunter. That was for the Atari home computer. So another thing to consider is the cartridge size for this is 12 kilopower. It's a very large cartridge, not the largest we've seen. We've seen, I think, the largest is 16 kilobytes in size, but it's still very interesting to see a whole game reskinned as something new. That we've already seen a more Pac-Man style game. Let's go in and do. I think we can do 30 now. And we'll do 31. The options and variations make it fresh, but it's also just extremely novel to play a 2-player simultaneous maze game on a home console. I mean, because we already have really good ones that are out there. Just bear in mind, Pac-Man style games and games that have ripped off Pac-Man have been involved in legal ramifications. So this is another video game that was involved with a legal dispute, and then they had to switch it up to Crazy Chicky. This is the 141st time we played a variant of Pac-Man, and the 22nd time we played a clone of Pac-Man on home console so far. This is one of the best, very well done versions of Pac-Man or clones of Pac-Man you could play so far. The only way to play official Pac-Man at this point is the Atari 2600 version and the Atari 5200 version. Some of the best Pac-Man style games, though, we've seen has been like Casey Munchkin or Casey's Crazy Chase, or Ladybug on the ColecoVision, Lock and Chase on the Intellivision, Mousetrap, Turtles is out there. One of the more recent ones was Alien, and Nibbleman was another one we saw on the Arcadia 2001. So let me go into game mode 8 and get both controllers ready, because this one is, notice at the top of the screen, we're both contributing to the left score because we have teamed up and work together on the left score. And then if you... Oh, let me say we're ready. Do we need the other two? And then look now, this is the... After we push start, then two more people are simultaneously playing, and their score is going up on the other side. So it's a combined two-player simultaneous score on one side, and then a combined two-player simultaneous score on the other side, and you get to kind of compete against that. It is so cool. And being able to play with two people at the same time is very difficult. You can also see this mode is where the funky foxes are kind of blinking in and out of existence. But there's not any modes that really change up the maze. I've heard that when you play through other mazes, there's like 3 total different mazes when you get far enough. But still, really, really cool to be able to play with a team mode for a console video game. It's crazy. Oh yeah, and Nebulous is looking up other release dates. Go ahead and look up as much as you can about this game, because the release dates for some of these games can be all over the place. You really have to look for the news articles and magazines for release dates for these games. They could be all over them. All right, so let's keep going with a few other game modes. Let's try game mode 11. You can see it's still 2-player simultaneous, and then now it's competitive. At the same time, the other player is trying to get as many eggs as they can lay, and when we pick up the... Oh, I think we can. When we pick up the Enchanted Carrot, we both have the ability to take out the funky foxes, but you'll get more points, or one person will get the points. And you can see it's calculating 2 scores at the same time. That's awesome. When I play games like this, I think, why didn't Atari do this? Why haven't we seen that? Because when we saw the Pac-Man that's on the Atari 5200, it was worlds better than the Pac-Man on the Atari 2600, but it didn't have all these different options. They should have done what they did with Space Invaders every single time. That's what I'm just trying to say. All right, so I'm going to rate Crazy Chicky the same thing we rated for Crazy Chewy. Whether it's Chicky or Chewy, this is top tier console video gaming because they added so many modes and variations to play the maze game. Sure, it's just Pac-Man, but I still got Pac-Man fever. It's only December 1982. I think you start losing Pac-Man fever in the middle of 1983, maybe 84. I guess we'll see. So looking over the chat, I want to see... And Marshall's talking about the foxes when their faces get torn off. It's fun for the whole family. We got 4 stars from Charlie, extra point for the team play from Brad, and 3.5. Lucas is going 3 point. If only we could rate it that way. We don't get to rate them that way. This is not average whatsoever. For all the games you could play on home consoles, it's up there in the excellent range. I'm even going to go higher than that. Crazy Chicky is one of the best games for anything you could play on all home consoles. I wish I knew more about this system and this console, the CreatiVision, because there's a lot of very good games that have come out. It's similar to like a proto ColecoVision, or before we saw the ColecoVision, this system was already making very, very good games. Oh, and that's true. Nebulous is because Casey Munchkin and Mousetrap for the ColecoVision is out there. That's a good point. Marshall's saying we still got Pac-Man fever in the year of us filming this. But I'm going to go way high. 4.5 stars for Crazy Chicky. It is one of the best ways, or one of the best console games you can play right now. Just get yourself a CreatiVision, like everyone in New Zealand and Australia did. All right, after Crazy Chicky, let's see what our next game is. It's more craziness. This is Crazy Gobbler. Let's check out Crazy Gobbler on the Emerson Arcadia 2001. Here's the box for Crazy Gobbler. This one's only on the Emerson Arcadia 2001. We've only done about 27, 28 games for the Emerson Arcadia 2001. And Crazy Gobbler this box is not a real box. It's a fabrication, not a legitimate scan. But they are taking some of the artwork that you would have seen. He looks very angry. This is like very angry Pac-Man just going to kill everybody. That's what Crazy Gobbler is. You flip it over the back, you can see it's not real. They just added a few screenshots for it. But I'm glad that Screen Scraper has something for us. All right, what else do we have for Crazy Gobbler? Besides the box, we have the system itself, the Arcadia 2001. So we're hopping from one console to another. The number pad joysticks, the digital joysticks are here, and we got the little nubby sticks that you can use to control. I actually kind of like that larger joystick that they had on the VTech CreatiVision. So there's the cartridge, sort of, maybe even not the real cartridge, with an example of the screenshot. Let's pop in Crazy Gobbler to Play by UA Limited and Emerson, released in the beginning of December 1982. All right, so the first thing I want to point out is at the top of the screen, there are two scores, or two places for high score. But this game is a single player only game. When you score in the game, it keeps score on the top left, and then the high score is displayed in the top right. So it makes you think that it's a two-player game, but it is not, sadly. The other thing is that I think this game was released only in Europe, because we've seen a few versions that are like this or similar to this, but I don't really know for sure where or how this one was released. Ready, set, go. Oh, weird. This uses the other joystick. Every now and then we play video games where the second slot is used for the first player, and that's how this is. It is the second slot to play Crazy Gobbler. So this one plays even more close to Pac-Man, but you can see the difference between the quality from what we just played with Crazy Chicky or Crazy Chewy. Let's get one of the power pellets here. Oh man, around the corners it's really rough. This feels like a much cheaper version of Pac-Man compared to what we've seen before. So the way this feels, especially compared to what we just came from, Crazy Gobbler is very rough. It also feels like it's chugging. Like the way I'm moving around the screen feels slow or stilted. Oh, I thought I could lure them over to me, but they ran away. Oh, look at the top right of the screen. I think we've seen this with another game on the Arcadia 2001. Wherever I move, it's showing my lives move the same way. Now that's pretty quaint. Oh man, I can't believe it got me. Yeah, the chopping sound is pretty loud. At least right here we have the... That almost sounds like the incessant Pac-Man sound that you hear. I'm looking to see if we have any AI for the enemies, but it doesn't. It looks like we got a little bit of something. Sound has a lot to be desired, though. Now, do we get a new maze? Does Crazy Gobbler get a different one? Everyone pay attention to see. It looks like it's exactly the same. And yes, no other game modes. We went from all the game modes, more game modes than most games, to no game modes. So this one is the 327th arcade maze game that we've played so far on Chronologically Gaming, and the 48th on home consoles. This one's actually the 5th that we've seen on the Arcadia 2001 up to this point. We've seen Turtles or Turpin on this system. We've also seen Cat Tracks, and this one is another variant of Cat Tracks. It wouldn't surprise me if they, just ripped off Cat Tracks and made something else, because we played a game called Nibble Min and Super Gobbler on the Arcadia 2001. This one looks really close to Super Gobbler, but this one doesn't play as good as Super Gobbler. Plus, the only one game mode, it almost feels like this is unfinished. Can we go in again? Oh, yes, right. We got to hit reset. There we go. Yeah, we don't have any eyes animation for the characters, so it feels like I'm very dead inside Pac-Man as I play the game. There's a lot to be desired here. We do have the digital joystick to play, like I showed with the system, but just bear in mind, we went from a cartridge size of the Crazy Chicky game from 12 kilobytes. This cartridge size is only a 2 kilobyte cartridge. So what they're doing on the Arcadia 2001 is essentially the same size as the first Atari 2600 games, as far as cartridge size. This is only 2 kilopower. That means, like, think of Combat for the Atari 2600. That was the size of this system, before they started to implement bank switching on the Atari. This one is the 142nd Pac-Man clone that we played on Chronologically Gaming. They just keep racking up more and more Pac-Man. We played so much Pac-Man. This one is the 23rd Pac-Man clone we've seen on home consoles, and still the only official way to play Pac-Man right now is the Atari 2600 or Atari 5200 version. Casey Munchkin's out there, Ladybug, Lock and Chase, Turtles. So this goes in the category of some of the worst Pac-Man that we've seen on home consoles. I would say this game is worse than Candyman that we played on the Bally Astrocade. I would say this game is worse than Super Gobbler that we played on the Arcadia 2001. I'd even say that this is worse than Pac-Man on the Atari 2600. While there isn't a lot of flickering, the way that this chugs and moves it doesn't feel complete or finished. Also, the game modes don't feel complete either. I would still say that this game is not as bad, though, as Pac Monster that we played on the Epoch CassetteVision. So comparing this to all the other consoles that are out there, I'd still say that this is a bad game. Crazy Gobbler is. It's not really going to... it's the reason why this console didn't survive. I mean, think about it. If Atari's not going to be doing well after this year, then this console's falling fast. Looking over in the chat, I see a 2 to 2.5. Oh, and Jeremiah's throwing out 2 stars. Nebulous is 2. Yeah, Curtis is saying 2.5 if he's generous. That's true. If I was really generous, I'd say 2.5, but no, I have to go in the bad range. Did anyone go lower than 2? Oh, we do have a lot of 2.5s. Charlie and James saying 2.5. Brad's 2.5. Marshall. So there we go. Yep. I don't know if I'm not going to be able to say 2.5. I have to say bad for all the games you could play on all home consoles. It's the control and the gameplay. You understand how Pac-Man works, and you watched how Pac-Man works, but it doesn't work as well. Yes, and oh, Paul's saying Atari Pac-Man on the Atari 2600 was not a bad game. I'll still say 2 stars. It's bad for all the games you could play on all home consoles right now. Yes, I go with my gut. After everything I've played, I've been living in 1982. This is bad. All right. And that's where we got to put the video game playing on pause. Thanks everyone that's here for the live show right now in the beginning of December 1982, having a fun seeing these games, playing the games, checking them out, and seeing what really is good. What's the best thing that you could play out there, or the worst thing you could play out there? So next time on Chronologically Gaming, we will be painting like crazy on the TRS-80 and visiting the Crypt of the Undead. That's it for today, and like I always say, you have been eating too many enchanted carrots if you start seeing funky foxes. Hey everybody, thanks for checking out the channel and joining me on my quest to play every single video game in order of release. We'll be streaming live every weekday at 9 p.m. Central, so join us and let us know if we missed any games along the way. This video would not be possible without Launchbox, RetroArch, and MAME. Tell all your friends there's some crazy guy named Chronologically Gaming trying to play every single video game. We have links down below that'll send you to places like our Discord and Patreon, and one that says all the video games we've ever played. If you go there, it's a list of everything, and you can click right to the game you want to see. Chronologically Gaming is the name to look for. We are perpetually retro, and we will catch you next time.